Hey everyone, welcome back to Loud Mom's Lair. I'm Tara.
And I'm Kristen. As always, we want to start our episode off with our check-ins. Tara, how are you?
This week has turned, unfortunately, to quite shit. So we obviously are transitioning into our new home, and we have our closing date coming up on this Friday. And so obviously that is all great news. Our buyers, I think at last episode, I told you guys that we were potentially having to put a new roof up on the house.
Right.
We got approved to not do that. So that is
Ooh.
definitely a win. Yeah, absolutely. But some kind of not so good news. So for people who don't know our situation, our boxer, who is 10 years old right now, she's been with my husband and I since literally a month into our marriage. We unfortunately got the diagnosis for her that she has a disease called a degenerative myelopathy, which is a neurological disorder that affects the spinal cord of dogs, and it creates like hind leg weakness, and it basically leads into paralysis. So we've received that diagnosis probably like 9, 10 months ago, and we first figured out like what was going on with her, had a question on what was going on with her because she started like dragging her hind legs and everything. And we were confused with that, so we took her into the vet, and the vet told us like what it could lead into, and I guess boxers are predisposed to this condition. Unfortunately, over the last couple months it has progressively gotten worse, and Matt and I have made the tough decision to make an appointment to do the final appointment. And yeah, and just transitioning into like um letting her fall asleep forever. So we were really debating on, like what is the quality of life right now, and unfortunately, like her balance is so off, and she ends up, dragging her hind legs and everything. And um, she is just unfortunately not where she used to be, obviously, because of this disease. And I would say, like, the worst part about this disease, so it's basically like Lou Gehrig's disease for a human, or ALS, if you will. And your body just like shuts down on you. So we, as her parents, we just try to assess the best possible um, what her quality of life is. And unfortunately, it's not great. We are trying to make it as good as possible, but because she can't really walk, and she's falling over all the time, we don't want her to be confused or stressed or whatever it may be. And our vet told us, like, incontinence would be the next stage. So we want to make sure that we make the appropriate decision prior to that stage. So we've made the decision. So once this podcast is released on Monday, unfortunately, we will have lost her. Yeah. So we are, in addition to that, we are moving to our new house literally the day after. So a lot of mixed emotions, and um, we don't really know how to feel right now. So I'm hoping maybe next time we chat, which actually will be in a couple weeks because we're going to take a little bit of a break, but hopefully we'll be back on our feet and back up to normal. But so that is our little update. Kristen, how are you?
God, I'm freaking so sorry that you're going to sit here and make me cry, because that is so freaking awful. I feel so terrible for you guys. And I hope, she finds obviously the peace that she needs and she's not in pain. And I really, really wish you guys, luck tomorrow, and obviously the transition into moving to your new home.
Thank you.
Yes. So since you just made me all upset, my week has been okay. We've just been getting ready for our trip next week, so we've been busy with that. But I mean, that's really it. It's been nice out, so we are able to, be outside a lot, which is awesome. But that's it for us.
Has it been good weather?
It has, yeah. Yeah, it's been really
Good.
nice. It's been almost 90 degrees the past 2 days. It's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, it was high 70s here, so that's
I'm ready
wild.
for it.
Right. A Florida girl, ready for the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, we can definitely start kickstarting this podcast off with a little cheers. And Kristen was generous enough to let us cheers to our baby girl, Jada. So
Yeah.
cheers to her final days and
Yeah.
hopefully to a brighter future. So cheers.
Yes, absolutely. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. This week we wanted to talk about different parenting styles that obviously we all know exist, and kind of what pros and cons go along with them.
Yeah, we really wanted to dive into like what exists out there, right? Because there's a million different uh terms
Yeah.
out that exist. There's a lot of different slang terms that exist, and I mean, of course, there's a lot of opinions that come along with it. And you, as you know, a couple, like you guys have your own plan and your own style, if you will, and other parents may agree or disagree with your current style. But who the f cares? Because it's your child, right?
Exactly. They're not raising them.
Right. So do whatever works for you guys. But so what you would see in the event that you did research about this, a lot of times you'll see like four main styles of parenting. So you have your authoritarian, which is really just focusing on obedience and punishment over discipline. You have your authoritative, which is creating those positive relationships between you and your kid, and then but also still enforcing rules. Then kind of transitioning into like the permissive parenting, which is you don't enforce rules really at all, and you just accept that kids will be kids and kind of do what they want. And then you have like the far end of the spectrum of just being completely uninvolved, or some charts showed like neglectful, but that can be taken or misconstrued in a lot of ways. So uninvolved as in like providing little guidance throughout life, and or nurturing or even attention. So of course, all four styles of those. There's obviously blends of those that do exist as well. It's not like you have to be stuck in one bucket, and maybe you start in like one container and you transition into a different as time evolves. So,
Right.
And like out of those four styles, there's sub styles, because why wouldn't we have sub styles of
Right.
everything? But that can range from anywhere from, free range parenting, helicopter, snowplow, lighthouse, attachment, and tiger parenting. So if you've never heard those, I highly recommend you Googling these, because it's definitely an interesting read.
I know that I never heard of half of these, so it was really interesting to read.
Yeah, I've only heard of a few of them, like really the helicopter and snowplow
Yeah.
I have definitely heard of. But I mean, a lot of the other substyles I absolutely have not heard of. So it was shocking reading, researching all of these naming conventions, if you will. But so those are like the quote unquote traditional styles of parenting. And then you have, of course, these youngins that are coming along, renaming everything. And you have the new age terms.
Yeah. And their names are Crunchy, Silky, and Scrunchy.
I want to know who came up with these terms. Like, I want to know who came up with them and why they came up with them.
Crunchy is one who embraces natural parenting style. They kind of think more organic, home prepared baby food, unmedicated births. Not me.
Oof. Oof. Give me all the drugs.
Yeah. Love eco-friendly baby toys. Then you got Silky, who's more of, modern moms, embrace scientific developments, opt for medicated hospital births. They're good to use, disposable diapers. They, can bottle or breastfeed. Formula's okay with them. A Scrunchy mom takes elements of both the Crunchy and Silky moms and really chooses what's best for them. Kind of fun.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of different terms going around these days, and
Yeah.
again, like scrunchy or scrunchy is what I put in my hair.
I was literally just gonna say
Yeah,
that. Every time I say scrunchy, I think of hair
right,
scrunchy.
right. And crunchy just sounds like a mess and sticky.
Like a potato chip.
Yeah, stuck in the damn couch.
Oh God.
And
You
silky just
might find a few of those when you move.
oh, oof, oof. Yes, we will absolutely. We've already found like crumbs everywhere, and then
Yeah.
like Wrigley, our Great Pyrenees lab mix. I mean, there are like tumbleweeds of hair that pop up from out of nowhere. So we have our
Yeah.
shark running constantly. Poor shark. I feel bad for the shark the most. Uh, okay, so hearing all of these styles, let's throw a little curveball. What do you think like our parents were growing up? Like if you had to, let's start with like the overarching styles, right? So the four main styles, the authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, or uninvolved. So like what do you think Uncle David and Aunt Linda were?
All right. Mom and
Oof.
Dad, if y'all are listening, fast
Hang up
forward for
now.
this. I'm gonna think they were the authoritative.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, but also, they did think, kids will be kids. But
yeah.
I'm gonna go with that one.
So maybe like a blend of both.
Yeah, yeah. They
Because
didn't let us run wild, but I mean, they.
you guys were able to run more wild than we were. To my aunt and uncle, like we were chatting before we kicked this off, and I was like, man, you guys just had a good childhood.
I can't complain.
We didn't, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely laid back. Did you guys have chores as kids?
Oh God, honestly.
No, they did not, everyone.
I really feel like we didn't. And obviously, picking up your room and whatnot kind of just comes with, did I do that? No, my parents literally got fed up with me and just made me shut my door.
I remember your closet.
Oh my God.
It was an awesome closet. Like
Yeah.
her room was legit, but yeah.
Yeah. They ended up finding like beer cans and stuff when I moved out, vodka bottles in my closet.
She was 12 years old, everyone.
Yeah. I know how to party.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't even think I knew what beer was at 12.
I was not 12.
I was struggling with my plump stage and trying to figure that out. Oh my God. Yeah, so for my parents, so I was telling Chrissy that like I think my parents had different styles. So my mom had one style, my dad had a style. And we had a good childhood, so like I'll preface with that. But I think my mom was more a mix of the authoritative and permissive. Like she still had rules and she enforced those rules. And if we talked back, like where's the closest, spoon that she had to her. But yeah, but there were definitely moments of like the, kids will be kids, and I don't want to say we got away with more because we didn't get away with a lot, but mom was more aware of what was happening, right?
Yeah.
And she wanted that relationship of the open communication and we could go to her with whatever. Now my dad, on the other hand, I would say more of the authoritarian. So it was about obedience and like he still wanted to have fun. Like we had four-wheelers, we had fun around like the yard and whatnot, but his strength was more of the punishment versus the positive discipline or whatever. So yeah, I would say definitely a blend of both.
Okay.
Yeah. But if we had to like carry it down to like the sub style, so let's break it out even more, right? With our parents, what do you think your parents were?
I think I'm going to go with, I feel like the lighthouse.
Okay.
Which is
I would agree.
more balanced. Okay. Which is more balanced methods of parenting, role model.
Mm-hmm.
I think
the big example of Lighthouse, for anyone who hasn't read it or heard it, is like it's really just that stability in a kid's life. It's like they call it a lighthouse. It's like a beacon of light throughout the kid's life to be that stable entity and to create that role model for them.
Yeah. I feel like I could kind of put them in the middle or mixture of lighthouse and attachment. Just, because I mean, I'm going to go with, I think, a mixture.
Yeah. No, I think my mom is along that same mixture, right?
Okay.
Like the lighthouse, she's the best role model ever. And
Yeah.
she was definitely the stability in our family. And like, but she also had the attachment too, is, the positive discipline was definitely a thing. She dropped everything for us, like when needed, if needed.
Right.
My dad, on the other hand, I would probably lean more towards the tiger parenting. So I would say he was more, he expected obedience. And if you didn't get obedience, it was not okay. And in his head, obedience equals success. And it doesn't all the time, everyone. So
no. Let your kids be kids.
Right.
Kids will be kids.
Let's be permissive these days, okay? All right, so now kind of transitioning to you and Austin. What do you guys think like you are? If you had to categorize yourself, what do you think you would do, like be? And then we can kind of expand on top of that.
So I don't think me and Austin were pretty much on the same page with stuff. Obviously, we do have some little, quirks that are different styles. He handles something differently than I would at some points. But I think I'm going to go with the authoritative.
Yeah.
And a little of the permissive.
Okay.
Just because along the lines of, like you said, I mean, kids will be kids at some point.
Right.
But I mean, we still enforce rules, but I'm not over here constantly, disciplining my child.
Right.
Or punishing them. I will discipline him, but I'm not constantly doing that.
Right. It's like a nice balance. Like you have to let the kids explore it a little bit. You have to let the kids, or not have to. You should, in my opinion, let the kids like figure life out to a point, right?
Yeah.
They got
I mean, that's how else are they going to learn? That's exactly what it is. I mean, we all did it. I feel like grew up to be pretty decent people.
I mean, you're a horrible person, but no, I'm just kidding.
That's why I'm here right now with you.
Right. That's why we're podcasting together, because she's such a bad person. Okay, so when you guys were pregnant or like prepping for a family or a drunken night turned into pregnancy, so you didn't really have much prep time. But once you found out you were pregnant, did you guys have any like conversations about like how you want to parent, or did you just kind of wing it? You're just going with the flow, which there's no fault in either way.
Yeah, no, I think it was kind of a little mixture of both. We did talk about it because obviously the way we both grew up, we grew up to be good people, and that's obviously how we wanted to raise our kid. So we kind of are taking it out of, his parents' book of how he was raised, and then my parents' book of how I was raised. And then, I mean, then we kind of just winged it too, Obviously, we had no idea what we were doing. So we kind of are going through it, like Braxton is. He is learning how to grow up, and, we learn.
You guys are also learning how to grow up.
Exactly. Before we move on, then, tell us what type of style you think you and Matt are.
So I think I think I have to like agree with you and kind of be on the same page. I think Matt and I are a blend of the authoritative and permissive because we definitely have rules and we do stick to them about 90% of the time. And it's like we heard in last week's podcast, like we are very routine based. And so we have a routine, things have places that they belong to, and associated with that, there are rules that we have within this house. We don't do chores, but it's a lifestyle, right? Like we have things that you have to do in life, aka laundry and dishes and all the things. And like Liv helps us with all of that, but we turn it into a game. We turn it into fun. So it's like she gets excited about it. But on the same time, you know, we are permissive at times. I would say, you know, 10% of the time we're quite permissive, and it's like, you know, we let her do her thing. We let her do, well, I mean, all the time. If she wants to do an independent play, like we just observe, right? Like we let her do her thing, and we freaking love it because it's, we don't have to entertain 100% of the time, which is wonderful.
Not like when they were younger where you had to constantly be by them. I mean, obviously you have to be by them and pay attention to them now, but if he wants to run and go to the bathroom by himself or in his bedroom by himself, go for it.
I'm so happy you just said that because Liv, like a few weeks ago, just started, like, she wants to go to the bathroom by herself. And like, she's been very Miss Independent on a lot of things, but the bathroom is like a new one. And it's wonderful. Of course, we're always on standby and we're like peeking around the corner, you know, because like we want to make sure she still cleans up well enough, you know, and doesn't make freaking And she loves toilet paper. So she's like, she like pulls it off the roll and just like lets it go.
So in Braxton's bathroom, it's not technically like in his room, but it's the guest bathroom, and so it's his.
Same.
We took the toilet paper off of the roll because
did he love it?
No, he pulls on it so much. So I told him, I said, no, you lost your privileges. We're done with this. So he's not allowed to have the toilet paper. So every time he goes in there, I lost my privileges. Yes, you did. Absolutely, you did.
Say privileges?
Well, you know, it's dad.
Privileges.
Yeah, it's a little some word he makes up, but
you get it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand with the independence of going to the bathroom. Braxton now will, if you even poke your head, go away.
Yes.
Wants to be by himself.
God, that freaking happened today. Like right before bed, because it's always one last pee before bed, right? It's like, you need to try. She's like, no, I don't want to go. Like, no, you need to try. And then it's like she starts peeing. She looks at us like, see? Like, no, like you see. You had to go. But she sees us and she's like, no, I do. I was like, okay, go. And like, we're like poking around the corner, like just looking. And as soon as she looks, we like get out of the frame, you know? Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. So independent, but it is wonderful. And that moment of the kids will be kids. I mean, I appreciate those moments.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Like, okay, go play with your kitchen. Go cook some food. I'm going to be out here drinking some wine.
Yeah. I know there's nothing that you can harm in your room or that can harm you. So I'm fine with it. And, you know, you can always still hear them because they always talk to themselves or, you know.
The first part, the quiet.
Oh, yeah.
Once it's quiet, like, no, they're doing something.
Yeah. You have to go find them and figure out what the heck is going on.
That happened the other day. All of a sudden she was quiet and I was like, God, you know, she's fine. So I give it like 30 more seconds and she's still quiet. I'm like, okay, this is not normal. And so I like tiptoe, you know, going towards her room. This girl like stops in her tracks. She's facing the wall, chapstick in hand. She stops in her tracks, looks at me, and she goes, oh, also she had a paper towel in the other hand or tissue or whatever it was. And she looks at me and she goes, no chapstick on the wall. She's wiping the damn wall.
Oh no.
You're right. No chapstick on the wall. And there was a nice coat of pink chapstick.
Oh
just
yeah.
colored on.
Hey, at least she knew she needed to get a tissue to clean it up.
She recognized and corrected her issue.
Look at that. She's already on the right track.
Right? I was so proud in the moment.
That's awesome. Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so anyway, back to kind of like the styles. So if you guys had to put like a label on you for the sub styles, what do you think you and Austin would be? And it doesn't have to be the same for both of you guys. Unless you're a united front and you just are the same. To you.
Honestly, I kind of feel like I'm gonna go again, same as my parents, the lighthouse and attachment. And I would do that probably for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you guys are pretty on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, that's really how Matt and I are too. I mean, we make sure we are synced the entire time and making sure like, hey, if you say something, I'm completely backing you up. And if I don't agree with it, I'm not going to say that in front of Liv. We'll talk privately, like elsewhere, vice versa. And like, but in the moment, I agree with whatever you told her.
Yeah. I think me and Austin actually need to get on that page more. Because we kind of are bad with that. If I don't agree with something, I'll say it like in front of Braxton, which I should not, just because then he's going to, well, last time Mom did this and she said that I could do, So I'm going to mark that down in my book that I need to follow you and Matt that way.
So we started a thing because Liv started lying to us, which I don't know where she got that from. But I think I said this in a previous episode. She must be
talking to Braxton a lot.
Oh my gosh. But I think I mentioned this before in one of the episodes, but she'll like ask me a question. If I say no, she'll go straight to Dad. And like I'll scream across the room, I already said no. So sometimes like that isn't feasible, right? Because she'll leave the room. We don't know where she is because kids will be kids, whatever. And so it's more of us having to ask her, well, what did Mom say? What did Dad say? And like whatever she says, like, okay, well, that's what they said, so that's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of also feel like I don't want to put a label that I'm a helicopter mom, because I'm not super overprotective, but when it comes to being out in public, and I know this is so silly to say, and it shouldn't be like that, but I am like that when we're out in public. That kid will not leave my sight.
Yeah.
And I will be overprotective
world, they
in
can't.
that. Right.
They can't. I had like a minor panic attack today in the store. I didn't tell Matt about this, so I'm sorry, babe. But we went to Target and had to pick up a few things, and I literally had to put like some gift bags back like on a rack that was literally 1 aisle away. And she was in the cart, and she was just hanging out, and I was like, it's going to be 2 seconds. I'm just putting these away. And it was only like about 2 seconds, right? But as I'm hanging up these gift bags back on the rack, like I am slightly freaking out, knowing what worst case scenario could happen. And I'm like, oh my God, how dumb am I to let her out of my sight? Of course, everything was fine. She was playing with her damn toy that we put in the cart. But like, me, psycho, because I say that every episode, like I was panicking that something was tragically happening, and I did not correct myself and just leave the bags. Like I should have just left the freaking bags, but I didn't. I was hanging them up. I'm like, oh, I hope nothing bad is happening. Fortunately, in those 2 seconds, nothing bad happened, but it could have, right?
Yeah, no, that shit's scary. I will never. I literally am one who, and people are probably like, no, you don't. You don't always have eyes on him. I really do. I barely look away. And if, let's say, I mean, I don't know if I've said this before, but I don't normally take him out by myself.
I don't think you have said that.
not that I don't feel comfortable doing it, I just don't trust anybody else.
Anyone. Yeah.
You know? So I do, if I have to go out, like emergency have to go out, I will, but I do not take him out unless normally Austin or I'm with somebody else. Just
Which
because
is so sad to think about. It's so
really
sad.
is.
And that could be a whole separate segment that we could do.
Oh,
Is like,
100%.
how women, just women. I will categorize it as that.
Yeah.
Like how women feel either alone or alone with a child, and like what they're thinking of and what quote unquote threats exist.
Yeah.
And and like the fear that lives within those thoughts, right? Because it's sad to think about, like, why can't you go out in public by yourself with your child?
I know. And frankly, I don't even like going out in public just me anymore. I'm constantly looking behind me and just in case I got to take off running.
Sad.
I know.
And maybe like social media plays a part in that, right? So like there's a lot of video footage that exists of, women getting followed, women getting attacked, or just people in general getting attacked or followed, or etc. Kids getting stolen, whatever it may be. And like maybe it's just the highlighting of the events that do exist in this world, which is scary in itself, right? Maybe that's become more prevalent since it's been more available over the years on social media, or just, I don't want to call it entertainment, but like entertainment avenues.
I guess news in general now at this point.
Yes. Yeah, everyone's got a camera these days, so it's everywhere. Okay, so for substyles, I would say Matt and I are probably a blend of lighthouse. Some moments, like 5% of the time, I would say helicopter, in the event like we're in public and we need to control every aspect of Liv's life, because like we're trying to avoid tantrums, etc. I don't know if that's the right call, but it's what we do. Entertainment is like, we need to be ready for entertainment. And then I would say, honestly, a blend of like snowplow too. Like I do tend to, I don't want to speak for Matt, which I've been doing, so I'm sorry, babe. But I would say there are definitely moments where we do drop everything to meet Liv's demands, and it's like, what do you need? Are you okay? Like, we will literally drop whatever. But hate these substyles. Like, genuinely do not like the labels on these, because I think a lot of parenting styles are a blend of a million of these, right? And like, who's to say these are right or wrong?
Right.
Who's to say that my parenting style is only helicopter or my parenting style is only lighthouse? Like, no. I think parenting styles evolve over time. I think they're a mesh of all of them at times, right? It just depends on what stage in life you are.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, some of you might be just tiger parenting. Who knows? But my dad.
If you are, figure something else out.
Shame.
Add another style in there with it.
Right. Like blend it out a little bit. Just like makeup. You got to blend.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Going into new age terms.
Yeah.
Are you thinking you're more crunchy, silky, or scrunchy?
Well, I hate the naming of all of them. I wish I could say that I was just silky, but I would argue that I'm probably scrunchy. Actually, no, false. That's stupid. No, I am probably silky, because crunchy is the natural parenting style and lifestyle in general. Yes, I care about Liv's lifestyle and everything, but I'm not going to lie. We're not organic. We do chicken nuggets and mac and cheese all the time. And like, I would say we average probably 2 nights a week with mac and cheese and chicken nuggets, because time is a thing and we are exhausted. And
if that's what she will eat, then there you go.
Oh my gosh, she begs for it every freaking night. And it's like, and it's awful. And she eats one vegetable and only one vegetable, and it's bell peppers. I don't know why. Don't ask. Like, she eats raw bell peppers, and she loves it. But she loves fruit. So she has a fruit like with every single meal. And obviously she has a protein and all of the other food pyramid entities. But like, no, mac and cheese and chicken nuggets are a thing. And come at me if you want, but like, whatever. We are surviving, sometimes not thriving, and it is what it is. But yeah, I would say the silky, like we are more of the modern aspects. Convenience is definitely a thing. We are busy. I'm not saying no one else is busy, but
Right.
like we're fucking busy and
Yeah.
like we're exhausted and we're trying to mitigate like the burnout, right? Because we want to be present for Liv.
Yep.
Yeah, disposable diapers. Yes. I don't have time. I like commend the individuals who do the reusable diapers or the cloth diapers. Like more power to
Props
you.
to you. God.
Oh my goodness. Like that is so much laundry. And we are already behind on laundry all the time
Yeah.
because it's constantly running our poor freaking washer and dryer. But like, and people who have multiple kids, more power to you. I don't know how you do it because we are constantly, I hate laundry. We are constantly doing laundry. Yeah. And then dishes.
I literally feel like I have to wash and or put in my dishwasher daily.
Do you hand wash?
No, not everything. No, normally I use the dishwasher, but if it's just
Do
like
you hand
something
wash
little,
some things?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Some.
no. No. Dishwasher it goes. Even
But
the stuff you're not supposed to put in the dishwasher, we put in
oh God, no, I don't do that.
Tupperware? Yes.
Oh, 100%. I'll do Tupperware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tag along with you. I'm gonna say I'm more on the silky side too. I'm going with Braxton. Also, you know, loves mac and cheese and French fries and ranch.
Nice. Nice.
So
good
he likes
choice,
to eat that a lot.
Braxton.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, I said, "What do you want for dinner?" I just want French fries and ranch. Okay. Which
kids will be kids, everyone.
Yeah. He's terrible at eating vegetables. We do have him on like a vitamin every morning that kind of gives him that stuff, and I make him smoothies. Yes.
Yes, the gummies.
Yeah.
Dude, Liv loves that.
I know. Braxton always asks for like multiple of them, and I said no, it's only one a day. So I have to fake and give him fruit snacks and say that they're his vitamins.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, these freaking labels suck. They all suck.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not literally a terrible parent, and I mean, people are going to be like, well, how do I know if I'm a terrible parent? You're not freaking neglecting your child, beating them, you know, any of that stuff. You have to, you learn as you go.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say,
different.
yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're the best parents because God, no, I'm not. There are probably so many people who would look at me, or even, you know, my neighbors, if we're outside and he's doing something and I don't like it, I'm not going to scream at him, but I'm going to say, no, listen, we're done. We're going to go inside. You're not listening to what I am asking you not to do. Some people might be like, okay, you know, but guess what? It is what it is. I love my child. I'm here for my child, and really that's all we can do.
And you're doing what you know is best for your kid, right? And like every parent is different, every kid is different, every situation is different. And it's like don't stick yourself in one of these containers and keep yourself in one of these containers. Like this is just information that exists out there, and like these are different styles that you could try to mesh with. But I think the moral of the story of all of this is like just balance, right? Like balance of everything. Like whatever works for your household, just do.
Yeah. And I feel like people might come at me for this one, but whatever. You have to be a parent first. You know,
Yes.
there's so
Yes.
many
It's
people-
priorities.
Yeah. And honestly, I can now say, the age I am, I can finally be friends with my mom. You know,
Yes.
she
Yes.
obviously is always going to be my mom. And if she wants to sit and be like, Kristen, you shouldn't do that. Well, okay, I shouldn't, but maybe I'm going to. But
I'm a grown-ass woman.
Exactly. I'm going to make my own decisions. But I can finally, you know, sit and say that I can be friends with my mom. Growing up, you might think, oh my gosh, you know, my mom just needs to understand
Get
or
lost.
lay off or whatever. She should just be my friend. That's not the case.
Right.
They're molding you pretty much
Right.
into something, you know, better, greater.
Right.
And
you don't see that in the moment, of course.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah,
I
no.
mean, my mom will be like, you hated me as a teenager. I probably did, because I was
Yeah.
hormonal and just an
Right.
angry individual, and I was emotional, like emo to the T. But
Yeah. Like,
now,
hey, you don't freaking let me sneak out of my house. Like, get
like,
lost.
how dare you?
Right.
Yeah, I think it was my 16th birthday. I had, were you there? I don't know. But 16th birthday, so our house, like growing up, had an upstairs. So it used to be like an old apartment, farmhouse type thing. But the main bedrooms were on the downstairs. But like anytime we had friends over or whatnot, we would stay upstairs.
Oh yeah.
There was a balcony that you could, that had like a picket fence going down the balcony. You could climb down it relatively easily.
Yeah.
And my sister was a master of sneaking out.
Yes.
She was like, she knew what to do, when to do, blah, blah, blah. I never snuck out ever, because I was terrified and I follow rules. And unfortunately, I still do that. And I am very like OCD when it comes to rule following, and that I probably led like quite a boring life, unfortunately. But it's fine. So my 16th birthday, I was like, yes, we're sneaking out. We're doing this. And like, so bad. So I was like, guys, it's midnight or whatever time it was.
Yeah.
And we're going down this freaking balcony, and we're like, yes, we're going to TP some houses, because that was the thing to do then.
God,
Yep.
I loved TPing.
Yeah. So I have never once successfully TP'd, because
oh my God.
Rule follower. Like, I felt guilty even carrying toilet paper in my freaking little backpack. Yeah, it's so stupid. So we snuck out. I was amped up. Adrenaline was running. I was also terrified. And we were like, all right, we have 4 acres of property, or about 4 acres. Like, we have to go around the perimeter of the yard, because we have a dog, and a dog is going to wake up and hear people outside and probably bark, right? Damn it, Reese's, our dog. So we're going down, we're scaling this balcony, and we're beelining it to the outer exterior of the yard. And then we're like going around the perimeter, and it's probably like 6 of us, like in trail of each other. And we get to like the front of the yard, and it's a good distance from the front door.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, porch lights come on, and all of a sudden the door opens, and I hear, Tara, or get your ass.
Which one was it? Was it your mom or dad?
It was my mom. Of course it was
Okay,
my mom.
I knew it.
Yes. And so what we do at that time, all of my friends throw the backpacks over to the neighbor's yard, because we don't want to be caught with fucking toilet paper on our back. Why? I don't know. My mom knew what we were doing. She's not stupid.
Oh, sure.
We're stupid for thinking she didn't know what we were doing. And
that is what is so funny is when you're that age, you really think you're so sly and you're getting away with everything. Slick. I don't know how many times I had like get-togethers at my parents' house, and until, I don't know, recently, my dad was like, you know how many, I know about all your little get-togethers at our house.
Oh yeah, they knew.
100%.
My mom always says it. My mom always says it now. It's like, dude, we laid that path for you. Like, we did this before you knew how to do this. Like, we know all of the tricks in the book. I was like, oh God, you're so right. And now here we are, moms, and we're screwed because our kids are going to be like testing us.
I know. And that's actually one funny disagreement I guess me and Austin have is, okay, I snuck out a lot, but I didn't do it at my own house. I did it at my best friend's house because I could never sneak out of my house. My parents' room was down on the first floor. And I had a dog who could open the sliding door. So it's not like I could keep the sliding door open. So,
wait, Abby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She would just jump on it and it would slide open. So that is one thing I was like, all right, Brandon's room is upstairs. We're going to make sure it's not, his windows are not by like a roof that he can get down. Right. And Austin's like, well, I never really had to sneak out. I just really told my parents I was going, out or whatever. And I said, all right, you also lived in like a town, very, very small, but I get it.
Well, and so that's so wild to me because like I had to deceive and trick my parents to thinking I was elsewhere if I really wanted to go to like a party, right? Like the best example I can think of is a New Year's party that my high school boyfriend and I were like throwing at his grandma's house. And like yes, like we are doing this, we've got a plan, blah, blah, blah. And I told my mom this lie, of course. And I was like, this is where I'm going to be. It's just a couple girls going for New Year's Eve and we're just hanging out at her dad's apartment. And she was like, I would like to talk to him. I was like, well, shit. So I literally had to try to find a dude who could act like this dad and talk to my mom. So I am
like a 16-year-old you had to ask?
So it was one of my friend's older brother, but he was only like 20 years old. So his voice is still not as deep as a dad's, right?
Yeah.
And so like mom and I are texting and she's like, all right, let me know when you guys are free. It's like, okay. I was like, we'll call in like 10 minutes. And so I'm like sitting near this brother, right? I'm like, okay, this is how she is. Like, this is what you need to say. This is what she wants to hear. And he's like, got it. And so his voice was higher too. And she's talking to him, whatever. And she texted me afterwards, like, his voice sounded weird. I was like, damn it. But I was
he knows.
Well, and I texted her. I was like, oh, he's just several drinks in. Like, sorry about that, But we ended up having the party and we ended up having a blast and yada, yada. But like, I think I just recently, a few months ago, told her, like, literally recently told her, like, hey, we totally lied. And I had this dude talk to you and it was not her dad and etc. And I was just like, that is the lengths that I had to get through or go through just to get out of the damn house.
I feel like that is kind of how it goes. And I'm sure Braxton and Olivia and or other kids we may or may not have will go through the same thing. I feel, because I did that too. Okay, guess what? I'm going to say I'm staying at this person's house and she's going to say I'm staying at so it's just like that.
You say the opposites.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty, Braxton, don't even try it because I know the tricks.
So kind of like going a little off topic than sneaking out, but do you think you guys will give Braxton chores as parents?
I want to sit and say yes, just because I want him to obviously know, life things. I don't know if they do in school anymore, like home economics or whatever it is. So it's, I feel like you need to learn, you're going to take the trash out. You need to learn, you need to pick up dog poop.
Right.
Obviously dishes need to be done, laundry needs to be done. Not saying I will make him do all of it, but he's
just
going
being
to
aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, like we're trying to integrate just knowing what needs to be done around the house with Liv, and like we're trying to make a game of it or make it fun and exciting, which it's not to everyone. But I think we will have quote unquote chores, but not like a chore list, right? I don't know. Like I envied the friends that I had in high school who actually had chore lists because we didn't. And growing up, like my brother didn't learn how to do laundry until he went to college, and that was a harsh reality check. So sorry, Jake, but like I want Liv to be aware of how to do these things, whether I mean, and maybe it'll be like, okay, you dirtied these laundry items, like clean your laundry, right? And this is how you do it. She doesn't have to do ours, but she can do hers,
Right.
I think that's appropriate, at least in our lifestyle. And dishes, right? You can put it in the dishwasher, and if it's full, run it, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not asking you to do all of the dishes, but like the things you dirty in the dishwasher, and just be a part of the family, be a part of the effort. And I think that is, I think that's, I mean, generous, honestly. Maybe we'll do allowance. I don't know. Have you guys thought about allowances at all?
No, we haven't. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't want to be like, hey, here's $1 every single time, because then he's going to want to do it every single time.
Then we're I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't. This is where it's kind of like a rock and a hard place for me. Is I'm okay with the praising, obviously, knowing that they did something good. When it came to like potty training and stuff, I was okay with here's a quarter or here's candy. Thank God he didn't pick up on all the time. Oh, I get a piece of candy.
Right.
And that's where I stand of, I don't want to constantly give you a reward just because I don't want you to grow up in life and say, oh, guess what? I pooped on the toilet and I
get a participation trophy. Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, totally fair. Totally fair. So I think, like, long story short, who the F cares what container you live in on parenting styles? A blend of multiple styles is probably appropriate, right? And like, do whatever works for your freaking family and whatever works for you as an individual, you as a parent, and then what works for your kid and your lifestyle, because every lifestyle is different.
Yep.
Is that fair?
100%.
Yeah. So, all right. We ready to transition into moments of the week?
Let's do it.
All right. Awesome. So, Kristen, did you have any parent fails and or toddler tantrums that really highlighted throughout the week?
All right. I'm going to go with, I'm starting out with a parent fail. It's not really a parent fail. It's more of a learning curve.
Love it.
So he it's been probably about a month and a half that he has not had his pacifier. And that was...
Wait, like just now? A month and a half?
Yeah. Well,
girl!
But not like, he didn't have it all day, every day. It was mainly just for sleeping.
Just like an attachment thing.
Yeah. So he got sick like a little while ago, and we kind of used that as our time to shine. And, when he asked for it, no, you're sick. I'm sorry. We don't want it to get sick, or we don't want you to still carry that germ. And we kind of just put it aside. Well, he stopped asking about it. And so we kind of just left it as is. He also has a little like comfort. We call it his baby. It's one of those, like, it's a sloth head, but then it's got like the blanket at the bottom.
Yes.
So he takes that with him to daycare and stuff. His comfort, he sleeps with it still. He started at this new daycare, and he doesn't want to put it in the cubby just yet. So he carries it around, and he'll leave it places. And every time I go and pick him up, we can't freaking find baby. So I was like, all right, we need to figure something out. Well, his previous daycare with baby and Passy, she put in a little Ziploc bag, and it said Braxton's Nap Time Friends. So I said, oh, you know what? Let's do that with baby, Braxton. Let's do your Nap Time Friends again. Mm-hmm. And you can keep it at daycare in the cubby. Well, he remembered what else was in that Nap Time Friend bag and said, oh, I want Passy.
Oh,
yeah, baby and Passy can go. Backfire. I was so just, oh my God. What the hell just happened?
Right.
So I kind of just used the thing. No, you're sick. It's sick. It's got germs. You're good. He hasn't brought it up since, thank God. But I was just like, holy shit, here we go. We're gonna have to start all over again.
Right.
But it turned out good. So
well, that's
it's good. Learned. I learned from it to just let it be.
Yeah. I think Matt and I were more authoritarian in the Passy department because we were like, we hit, I think it was like 12 weeks, and we were like, nope.
Yeah.
It probably kicked us in the ass because there were multiple nights where like she probably could have used something to soothe. Yeah. But
no, if I were to do that again, I would not introduce pacifier at all. Some kids don't have a problem getting off of it at all, but others, they are really attached to it. Braxton's had freaking holes in it. I did all the tricks that any mom suggested to me or that I read. Right. He wanted nothing to do with those tricks. He knew all of them. And
that just goes back to like every kid is different. Yeah. Every parenting perspective and the tactic is different, right?
I wanted to put on all those Facebook comments and stuff. This didn't work. Lie.
I mean, sometimes you have to, right?
Right.
I would have.
Learning curve. Don't ever mention it again.
Well, I mean, you guys are off it now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. See?
Doing good.
One step forward.
Yes.
Do you have any tantrums or anything?
No, it's been again. It must just, I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's full of tantrum week again. So.
Oh no.
Whatever.
Yeah, ours, like honestly, Liv's been a freaking angel, and I cannot thank her enough. Like for how. Well, it comes in waves because like the last 2 weeks she's been great, but I'm sure it's coming. Like I'm sure the tantrums are definitely coming. But this past week I don't really have any tantrums, but like a mom fail. So it kind of goes like hand in hand with unfortunately Jada's like life expectancy, if you will. So Matt and I were trying to think of like, what do we tell Liv? What do you tell a 2-year-old? Like she loves her dog, and like, how do you explain this to her that her dog's no longer going to be around, right? Mm-hmm. So we decided to use the story of Jada is going to move with the doctor and live with the doctor now. The doctor is going to make her feel better because in reality she will,
Right.
But the doctor's going to make her feel better, and she's going to go to the doctor's farm. And so we were like, yep, she's going to the doctor's farm. But like, and we've been saying this over the past couple days, just trying to like prep her for it. And it's like, you got to say goodbye to Jada and like give her hugs and kisses and love her and blah, blah. And also you have another dog, so love on him. And so long story short, we told her about the farm, and where it becomes a parent fail is I picked her up from school. I think it was today or yesterday. They all blend together. And I was like, we try to talk to her every time we talk to her. Like we try to talk to her about Jada. And it's like, all right, hey, do you remember what Dad told you this morning about Jada? She's like, yeah, we're going to the and I was like,
Oh,
no, like Jada's going to the farm. She's like, we're going to the farm. So she was thinking that like we are all going to the farm or we
Yeah.
can visit at the farm. So like
Right.
parent fail moment. Like maybe we shouldn't have used the word farm. Like we don't know. We're trying to figure all of this out at the
Right.
same time, right? Like how do you
Yeah.
explain death to a 2-year-old? Like you just
Exactly.
don't. Like
Mhm.
this is a blip in her life that she probably won't remember, but in the moment she'll probably be sad for like a week, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was definitely like maybe we could have fine-tuned that a little bit more, but it is what it is, and we're sticking with the damn farm. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us on today's episode. Please make sure to reach out and share your stories, or as always, let us know what you would like us to talk about.
absolutely. So you guys can find us on Instagram at Loud Moms Lair Podcast. You can listen on Spotify, search Loud Moms Lair channel, and then you can even watch us on YouTube. Just once again, search Loud Moms Lair. You can view previous episodes as well.
Yes. Thank you all again, and we will see you next time.
Yes. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.